Hello, beloveds. I was just walking in the woods and thinking about maybe making a video, and then I crossed this place where I've been doing some grid work and working with this grandmother tree up in there, and there was a deer. I don't know if you can see it back there. It's like a little speck, and my dog hasn't caught on to the fact that it's a young one, but I think it is a buck. And then up through the hill there are all of these deer. So there's some deer medicine, which I was getting really strongly in May and June. And so that in this space and the fact that they're hanging around made me think, okay, I'll press record on the video here. So, hi. Lots going on. And, I guess one of the things I was just thinking about while I was walking was, being a channel. And there's a lot of hype, I think, in the collective field around, those that claim that they are channeling a certain, frequency or deity or ascended master, like Mary Magdalene or various others. And that's really important because we need those messages to seed consciousness on the planet at this time, and it is. But I have some kind of thoughts about channeling, and there's something in me, and I've written on this years ago, but there's something in me that just doesn't desire to be a channel for supposedly this other essence, right? So when I'm in sessions, I will channel, sometimes an ancestor comes through, or lately I've been hearing a lot from the Arcturians for folks coming into my sessions or in my field, and maybe it's for me too, so these things come in, these channelings come in. But if I were to attach my identity as being a channel for one specific group or ascended master or, soul frequency, I think that would be limiting. That would be limiting to me, to us, to who we are on the planet at this time. So sometimes, honestly, maybe it's an egoic part in me, but it's the part in me that has, sought to do this entrepreneurial thing really honestly. And then there are some bumps along that road. And then I see people who are just a channel, who are, maybe much more popular or something like that. That's a little hard to swallow sometimes. Primarily from a business sort of sense. It's oh, well, if I had just said that I was channeling Mary Magdalene all along, then maybe that would be more financially viable. And I'm well, that's bogus. And I don't play by those games. So this is an encouragement to yes, hear the influence, but I don't think that we need to get wrapped up in saying that we are channeling exactly this or exactly that. Now, here's what I will say, kind of spiritual tip, cleanliness, spiritual tip, is that you have to intend to align with that which is source and source connected, source related. So the easiest way to maybe explain this would be if you consider, 12th dimension and beyond, 12th through 15th, to be the unified field of oneness. What we're all trying to do, essentially what the awakening is we're trying to get back to that integrity of the light body that is connected into that reality of oneness. And the planet is trying to do that as well. And so there are many, many sort of fallen like 11th dimensional and on down, beings, souls, voices, and interference, like pretenders, okay, that will come into your consciousness or say, hi, hey, Sarah, good to see you. I'm going to give you this message. It's for your highest good. And personally, I think that a lot of the time when people are like trying to channel exact souls, they get like these mock souls or replicas or something like that, where it's like not actually the thing that you think you're talking to. Okay. So we need to be really intentional about connecting into that which is source, but it is us that connects into source at that space. And so if we are, our DNA has so many influences and like originations and like, what would you say? Like, like we are influenced, or our DNA is influenced in many ways. And so many of us even have a mixture of like that original DNA that was connected into the unity and the oneness, and then there's been some contamination of that DNA, and it's part of our soul contract to actually like clear that out and really discern, what is for us and what is not for us. And so if you're watching this and you're hearing these words and they're resonating, that may be you, that resonance is an indication that there's truth in it for you. Okay. And so the most important thing is that we align to the source creation, like the oneness, the unity, the original connection point into like the thriving life of creation itself. Okay. And so we're doing that with nature and like with the planet. So as we are healing the light body that connects us into that source, the planet is doing that as well. So, these are like original kinds of codes. Like we're searching for, I talk about sacred remembering a lot, bringing back the podcast kind of as we speak. And on that path of remembering, like I think there's so much discernment. It's kind of the name of the game around what is, original creation in truth and what is fallen and distorted. And I've myself have been like very confused at different times, and I'm not always entirely clear from the channeling perspective, but like as to, exactly what's what. But I will say that my like radar gives me a knowing when I am looking at something that is distorted or fallen or just still mixed up. Like it might even be that person or that energy that they're carrying is like intending to do good, but there's really still a lot of distortion in the field, or like in what they're serving, let's say. And so, there's like a yes or a no. And just recently there was like, for me, sometimes it's like a yes for a time until you're like, oh, okay, I have clarity, and then you can like choose and discern and, stop engaging with that person or practice or energy that you were maybe sort of enthralled with for a moment because it called to something in you, but maybe that was also a part of you that was a little fallen, in and of yourself. And so then you get clarity and you get to choose, oh, I want to align more to creation. I want to align more to the truth and to the origination of who I am, and the source connection and the God source that I serve. and just continue aligning to that. There's a lot of felt sense in that. There's a lot of inner feeling, inner knowing, following the resonance, and not so much following what anyone else is saying or who anyone else claims to be channeling, because those things can be good reminders, but like the innermost essence of your own felt sense and your own knowingness is really what we need to allow to guide us on the planet at this time. So if this is resonating with you, hello, good to meet you. If I haven't met you so far, you can find me at sarahpoet.com, and Sacred Remembering is emerging again for the 7th season of the podcast. That's so amazing. And Heartland is opening in September of 2023, which is about really reclaiming these creation codes in partnership with the Positive Earth Grids in order for us to really transcend some of the fallen matrix, I'll say, of patriarchy and the depletion imprints on women and the feminine. And that's specifically what Heartland is about. So I hope to see some or many of you there. And thank you for listening. If this has helped or sparked something in any way, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Okay, blessings.